Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In life, it's easy to feel discouraged when things don't happen as quickly as we hope, but delays are not signs of rejection. When you're waiting for something, it's natural to wonder if you've been overlooked, but it's important to remember that God's timing is always intentional. Sometimes the process of waiting is not about lack, but about refinement. Just as gold must be refined in fire to shine brighter, you too are being shaped in the waiting. Delays often come to remove the impurities in your life, making you more prepared for the blessing that's ahead. Life's waiting periods aren't just random moments of frustration, they are periods of development. The delay is not God telling you no, but rather preparing you for the bigger picture. Imagine if everything you wanted came immediately, would you truly be ready to handle it? More often than not, the delay is a season where God is strengthening your character, building your faith, and getting you into alignment with His plan. You might feel stuck, but it's in those moments that you are being sharpened and equipped for the next level. When God makes you wait, He is not punishing you, but positioning you. The timing of your breakthrough is not about being denied, it's about being prepared for the magnitude of the blessing that's coming. A delay is simply the process where God is working out the details, arranging circumstances, and making sure that everything is in place for the perfect moment. You may feel like you're on pause, but behind the scenes, God is moving things around on your behalf. His delays are always intentional. The key to understanding delays is recognizing that they are not setbacks, but setups. You may be waiting for an opportunity, a breakthrough, or a promise to manifest, but during that waiting period, God is aligning people, resources, and opportunities that you wouldn't have expected. It's easy to get discouraged by the waiting, but each day that passes is an opportunity to get yourself ready. God's delay is the time He's using to prepare both you and your environment to receive the fullness of what's coming your way. When things don't happen on your schedule, it's easy to question whether you missed the opportunity or whether it's too late. But God's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't fit into our narrow view of time. He knows exactly when to open the door and when to close it. Trusting that God's delays are part of His divine strategy helps you shift your mindset. Instead of wondering if you're being denied, understand that the delay is actually an opportunity for God to do a deeper work in you, making you ready for what's next. The waiting period is not a sign that you've been forgotten. It's a sign that God is preparing something far better than what you could have imagined on your own. During the waiting, you may not always see the reasons behind the delay, but you must trust that God's plan is unfolding just as it should. You may have setbacks, but with each day, you are being positioned for something more significant than what you can even comprehend right now. God's delays are not denials, they are divine detours that lead you to a greater destiny. God's timing often doesn't fit into our understanding of time. We tend to think of time in terms of deadlines and schedules, but God works on a different timeline. When we find ourselves waiting, it's easy to feel frustrated or even defeated, as if our plans are being delayed or ignored. However, this waiting period is not wasted. It's part of a larger plan. Even when we don't see it, God is always at work behind the scenes, making the necessary adjustments and preparing us for what's coming next. His timing is not bound by our limitations, and we must trust that He knows exactly when the moment is right. When things don't unfold as quickly as we hope, it's easy to question why God isn't moving faster. We may wonder why we have to wait or why our breakthrough hasn't come yet. But in these moments of uncertainty, it's important to remember that God sees the bigger picture. While we might only see a small piece of the puzzle, He can see the entire masterpiece being created. His timing, though mysterious to us, is perfect. Each delay, every moment of waiting is strategically placed to prepare us for what's ahead. Sometimes the gap between what we hope for and what we are experiencing can feel like a void. The promises God has spoken over our lives may seem distant, and the waiting can feel endless. However, that waiting is not a punishment, it's part of the process. God's timing allows us to develop patience, strengthen our faith, and grow in our trust in Him. We might not understand why we have to wait, but when the time is right, the promise will come to pass in a way that is greater than we could have ever imagined. Trusting in God's timing means embracing the uncertainty of the present, knowing that the future is in His hands. There is a deep peace in accepting that we don't have to have all the answers right now. The delays and periods of waiting are not a sign that something has gone wrong. They are a sign that God is at work. When we trust that He is orchestrating everything behind the scenes, we can rest assured that He is preparing us for the next level of our lives. What we may perceive as a delay is actually God's perfect timing at work. God's timing may seem inconvenient to us, especially when we are eager for things to change. We might think that the window for our opportunity is closing, or that we've missed our chance, but God's plan is not bound by time the way we are. He has a purpose for every season, and every season has a purpose in our journey. Even in the moments where we don't understand why we're still waiting, we can take comfort in the fact that God is making perfect preparations for our future. When the moment comes, it will be the right moment for us. In the middle of waiting, it's easy to question whether things will ever change, but the key to enduring through the wait is trusting that God's plan is unfolding just as it should. Our understanding is limited, and we can't always see how things will work out, but God's timing is never late, and it's never early. It's always exactly when it needs to be. Trusting in His perfect timing means releasing control and surrendering to the process, knowing that when the moment arrives, it will be exactly what we need for the next step in our journey. In life, preparation is often the hidden work that leads to our greatest breakthroughs. Just as an athlete must train rigorously before stepping into a competition, the seasons of waiting are often a time of preparation for something greater. During these moments, God is working behind the scenes, refining us and getting us ready for what's next. While we may be impatient for the arrival of our dreams, it is in the waiting that we are equipped with the skills, strength, and faith necessary to handle the blessings that are on their way. The wait is not a pause, it is the training ground for elevation. Think of a builder who first lays the foundation of a house. No matter how much the structure may seem to take time, every step in the process is crucial for the house to stand strong. Similarly, God uses the delays and waiting periods in our lives to lay a foundation that will support the future He's preparing for us. We may not see the immediate benefits, but every day of waiting builds us up spiritually, emotionally, and mentally so that when the time comes for us to step into our purpose, we are ready. Without this preparation, we wouldn't be able to sustain the blessings we are asking for. Sometimes it's easy to think that the waiting is a waste of time, but in reality, it is the most crucial part of the process. In this season, God is doing a deeper work in us than we can understand. We are often unaware of the growth and transformation taking place within us, but the lessons we learn in times of delay shape us into the person we need to be to handle our next level. As we develop patience, resilience, and wisdom, we are being prepared for elevation. The journey is just as important as the destination, and through the preparation, we are being made stronger and better equipped for what's to come. During times of waiting, it's easy to become discouraged and lose hope. But it is important to remember that God is not wasting your time. Each delay, each waiting season is an opportunity for growth and transformation. God uses these moments to position us where we need to be and to develop the character necessary to hold on to the blessings that He is bringing into our lives. While we might feel like we're stuck or falling behind, God is aligning things in His perfect way, ensuring that we are prepared for the elevation that is ahead. Preparation for elevation is not always comfortable, and it often involves stretching beyond our comfort zones. It's in the waiting that we face challenges that shape us. Whether it's learning to trust God more fully, growing in patience, or gaining the wisdom needed for the future, every step in the process builds us up. We might feel like we're not progressing as quickly as we want, but the truth is God is positioning us for greatness. Without the necessary preparation, we wouldn't be able to handle the magnitude of the opportunities and blessings that are about to unfold. God's process of preparation is never wasted, and every delay has a purpose. It's in these seasons of waiting that we develop the strength, faith, and endurance needed to take on the next level. The elevation we seek is often directly tied to how well we have been prepared to handle it. So when the time of waiting seems endless, remember that it is not time wasted, but rather time well spent. God is building you up for something bigger, and when the time for elevation arrives, you will be more than ready to step into your destiny. There are times in life when it feels like nothing is happening and the progress we long for seems out of reach. During these seasons, it's easy to become discouraged or question if things will ever change. However, The absence of visible movement does not mean that God is inactive. Even when we can't see it, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events, aligning people and arranging circumstances in ways we can't yet comprehend. Just because we can't perceive the action doesn't mean it's not happening. Behind the curtain, he is making connections and setting things in motion for our future. We often measure progress by what we can see, but God operates on a much deeper level. The work he is doing behind the scenes is often invisible to us, yet it's essential for preparing the right moment. Think of an artist who paints on a canvas. Sometimes the brushstrokes are subtle and hidden beneath layers, but each stroke contributes to the masterpiece. Similarly, God is at work, creating a masterpiece in your life. What you can't see now is actually the groundwork being laid for the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Trust that everything is being arranged for your benefit. There are moments when we feel stuck in our journey and we wonder why things aren't progressing as we hoped. During these times, it's vital to remember that God's work is not limited to what we can immediately see. He is aligning opportunities, people, and resources, setting them all into place so that when the time comes, everything will fall perfectly into place. The delay is not a sign of inactivity, but rather a part of God's careful and deliberate preparation. He is ensuring that every detail aligns with his perfect plan for your life. Even when life feels stagnant, trust that God is still moving on your behalf. Just because you can't see the changes doesn't mean they aren't taking place. Like a puzzle being carefully assembled, God is positioning the right pieces in your life, preparing everything for the right moment. The things you need are being lined up, and even the obstacles you face are part of his process to lead you to your next level. What seems like a delay is actually a divine setup, and everything is working in your favor. In seasons where progress seems slow or invisible, it's easy to feel disconnected from God's purpose. But we must remember that God's ways are not our ways, and his work often takes place in ways we can't immediately recognize. Trusting the process means having faith that while we don't see it, God is arranging everything according to his divine plan. Every person, every situation, and every challenge are part of the greater story that he is writing for us. And when the time is right, all those hidden actions will suddenly come together, revealing the beauty of his plan. At times, waiting can feel like we are in a holding pattern with no movement forward, but this is when it's most important to trust that God is still at work. He is aligning things behind the scenes that we can't yet understand, and the process is leading us to a place of favor and fulfillment. Even though we may not see the immediate results, everything is falling into place according to God's plan. When the time is right, we will look back and see how God's invisible work brought about the breakthrough we had been praying for. God's timing is never random. It is intentional and perfectly aligned with the purpose he has designed for your life. While we may desire things to happen according to our own timeline, the truth is that God's timing is tailored specifically to our unique destiny. He knows exactly when we are ready to receive the blessings he has prepared for us. Our lives are not just a series of events that happen by chance. Every moment, every delay, and every breakthrough is part of a divine plan that fits into the larger picture of our purpose. There are times when we feel like things should have happened by now or that we missed the opportunity, but the reality is that God's plan for us is unfolding in the exact way it should. The timing of your blessing isn't about what you think you deserve or when you think it's due. It's about when you are truly prepared to step into it. God is not only concerned with the blessing itself, but with making sure that you are spiritually, emotionally, and mentally ready to handle it. When the moment comes, you will be equipped to embrace it fully. Many people experience frustration because things don't seem to be happening as quickly as they would like. However, God's timing is precise and tailored to your life's journey. Just as a plant takes time to grow before it bears fruit, there is a season of growth and preparation that must occur in your life before you are ready for the fullness of what God has for you. Trusting that his timing is perfectly designed for your purpose means knowing that when the moment arrives, everything will fall into place and you will be prepared to step into the destiny he has set before you. It can be difficult to accept that things don't always happen on our schedule, but it's important to understand that God's timing is not arbitrary. He knows the right time for you to receive your blessings, and that moment will be perfectly in sync with his greater plan for your life. Even when it seems like nothing is happening, God is at work behind the scenes, arranging everything in such a way that when your blessing arrives, it will be exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. It will be just right. Timing is everything when it comes to fulfilling your destiny. There is a season for everything under heaven, and each phase of your journey serves a purpose. Sometimes waiting feels frustrating, especially when we see others moving ahead, but understanding that God's timing is tailored to our individual paths helps us to trust the process. When it's time for your blessing to manifest, it will come in a way that is uniquely suited to your life. There will be no rushing, no forcing. It will happen exactly when it needs to, and you will be ready. God's timing for your blessings is not based on chance or luck, but on his divine purpose for your life. He knows the exact moment you are meant to step into your destiny, and that moment will align perfectly with his greater plan. Trusting in this truth means trusting that every delay, every challenge, and every moment of waiting is leading you to the perfect moment when everything will come together. When that time arrives, you will step into your blessing with confidence and clarity, knowing that it was always meant for you and that it arrived at just the right time. In conclusion, understanding that God's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't align with our expectations, is crucial for living a life of faith and patience. The waiting periods, the delays, and the seasons of uncertainty are not signs of failure or neglect. Instead, they are part of a divine process where God is preparing us, refining our character, and positioning us for something greater. As we navigate these moments, we must trust that what is happening behind the scenes is just as important as the visible results we long for. The waiting process is not just about standing still, it's about growing, developing, and getting ready for the blessings that God has promised. Delays are not denials, and the pauses in our journey are not meant to discourage us, but to equip us for the purpose we are called to fulfill. The experiences we have during these times are shaping us into the people we need to be in order to carry the weight of the blessings we are about to receive. We must embrace these seasons of preparation, knowing that they are necessary for our elevation. God's work is often unseen, but he is always active in our lives, orchestrating circumstances and aligning opportunities that we cannot yet see. His timing is never arbitrary. It is always intentional and specific to the unique purpose he has for each of us. While we may not always understand why things are happening as they are, we must remember that God is not wasting any moment. Behind the scenes, he is making all things work together for our good and preparing us for the right time to step into our blessings. When the time is right, everything will fall into place. God's timing isn't random or haphazard. It is carefully planned according to the destiny he has set for us. Just as a builder works carefully to lay the foundation before building the house, God is working to lay the foundation in our lives so that when the moment elevation comes, we are ready to handle the blessings he has for us. His perfect timing ensures that everything we need will be in place when the moment arrives, and we will step into our purpose with confidence and clarity. In the end, trusting God's timing is about trusting his process. It is about letting go of our desire for control and allowing him to lead us according to his divine plan. Each delay, each waiting season is a part of his preparation for our future. When the moment of blessing arrives, we will see how all the pieces have come together in perfect harmony. Until then, we must remain faithful, patient, and trusting, knowing that God's timing is always just right, and his plan for our lives is greater than we could ever imagine. Thanks for watching.